Everyone says they want to be intelligent. They want the label, the respect, the authority. But what they really want is the appearance of intelligence without paying the psychological price. Because real intelligence does not feel empowering. It feels isolating. The sharper your perception becomes, the more alien the world around you starts to feel. You begin noticing patterns people desperately ignore. You hear what they mean, not what they say. You see the lies holding their identity together. And once your mind crosses a certain threshold, there is no return to normal. You don't fit back in. You don't blend anymore. You stand apart. This is not motivation. This is not self-help. This is a warning. Because the mental conditioning you're about to hear doesn't make you impressive. It makes you dangerous. And dangerous minds are never welcomed for long. The hidden cost of intelligence. True intelligence is not rewarded. It is tolerated until it becomes threatening. The more you understand, the less patience you have for shallow explanations. You notice how people recycle opinions instead of forming thoughts. How emotion replaces logic. How beliefs act as emotional armor rather than tools for understanding reality. Slowly, something uncomfortable happens. You realize you no longer speak the same mental language as the people around you. This is not loneliness. It is cognitive separation. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Because your mind has moved forward while theirs remains where it was. And that distance never closes. It only widens. Step 1. The isolation protocol. Every dangerous mind begins in isolation. Not loneliness, not depression, chosen solitude. This is where mental domination starts. Every single day, you give yourself 20 minutes of absolute mental silence. No phone, no music, no stimulation. Just you, paper, and a pen. Same place, same time. Your brain responds to ritual. Ritual turns thought into force. At the top of the page, you write one question. Not philosophical fluff. Not motivational nonsense. A question that exposes weakness. Why do I freeze under pressure? Why do I seek approval? Why do I lose intensity after starting strong? Why does fear dictate my decisions? Then you begin the assault. You write the first answer. Then you attack it with one word. Why? Again, and again, and again. At first, your mind produces familiar explanations, safe answers, socially acceptable excuses. Ignore them. Those are defense mechanisms. If you continue long enough, resistance appears. Your thoughts slow, your chest tightens, irritation surfaces. This is the wall. Most people stop here. That's why most people remain shallow. You don't stop. Because behind this resistance is buried fear, suppressed memory, and unexamined belief. Discomfort is not danger. It is identity collapsing. At the end of the session, you write one paragraph, the sharpest truth you uncovered. Not polished, not poetic, just honest. Do this daily for 30 days. Week 1 feels boring. Week 2 feels disturbing. Week 3 rewires how you think. Your brain stops floating. It starts cutting. What changes after 30 days? You stop accepting surface answers. You break problems down faster. You notice logical gaps instantly. You hear manipulation before it finishes speaking. And then something unsettling happens. You realize most people don't think. They repeat. Opinions. Beliefs. Emotions. Pre-installed mental scripts. You don't. And now you are no longer equal. Step 2. Weaponizing information. Most people consume information passively. They scroll, watch, forget. Their minds become graveyards of unused knowledge. You will not do that. From now on, nothing enters your mind without becoming functional. Every idea must answer one question: how can this be used? Used to persuade, used to predict, used to defend, used to dominate. You don't highlight quotes. You extract leverage. You don't admire ideas. You convert them. Not people fear loss. but frame choices as losses to control behavior. 3 weapons per day. From anywhere: books, videos, conversations, conflict. Within weeks, you stop reacting. You start arriving prepared. People sense something unsettling about you. They don't know why. They just feel it. Why power feels cold? Weaponized thinking removes innocence. You stop seeing words as friendly. You stop seeing ideas as neutral. Everything becomes tactical. This gives you control, but it also creates distance. People operate emotionally. You operate structurally. They seek validation. You seek outcomes. They feel. You calculate. This is why intelligent people are labeled cold, manipulative, untrustworthy. They aren't wrong. This is the trade. Step 3. Pattern domination. The world is not random. Human behavior repeats endlessly. Speech patterns, body language, emotional reactions. You train yourself to observe one environment per day. Silently, you watch reactions. You document repetition. You note signals, not opinions. Patterns. The nervous laugh after insecurity. The repeated phrase before agreement. The movement that appears before dishonesty. Over time, prediction becomes automatic. You see decisions forming before people make them. This isn't intuition. It's trained awareness. And once you see patterns, you cannot unsee them. People stop feeling spontaneous. They feel scripted, the loneliness of seeing clearly. When you see loops, people stop feeling free. You realize most humans believe they are independent while being controlled by habits they never questioned. Illusions bond people together. Awareness separates them. You are no longer inside the illusion. And illusions are what make people comfortable. Why intelligent minds are quietly resisted. Human society does not reward intelligence. It rewards predictability. Predictable workers. Predictable thinkers. Predictable reactions. The moment your thinking stops following expected patterns, you become uncontrollable. You don't respond to guilt the same way. You don't absorb narratives without dissection. That makes people nervous. Because control depends on predictability. The shift from thinking to seeing. At a certain level, intelligence stops being about thinking. It becomes seeing. You don't debate ideas. You observe incentives. You don't argue words. You track motives. Emotion wants agreement. Intelligence wants accuracy. Accuracy is cold. You hear the agenda beneath every sentence. Why you stop explaining yourself? Highly intelligent minds stop explaining. Not because they can't, but because explanation invites resistance. You don't enlighten those who lack the framework. You threaten them. Threatened people don't listen. They defend, so you stop explaining. Not out of arrogance, out of efficiency. Silence becomes strength. Strategic detachment. Detachment is not apathy. It is control. You no longer confuse feeling with truth. You stop mistaking intensity for importance. This sharpens decisions. Others act from fear and excitement. You act from outcome. This makes you unmanipulatable. And people who rely on emotional leverage resent those who don't react. The emergence of mental dominance. You speak less. Your words carry weight. You pause longer. Others rush to fill silence. You don't defend accusations. Others expose themselves. Dominance emerges quietly, not through aggression, but through frame control. Why you are misread. Silence is labeled arrogance. Calm is labeled manipulation. Clarity is labeled coldness. These labels reveal insecurity, not truth. Difference feels like superiority to those who feel threatened, the psychological point of no return. Once you see how belief shapes behavior, you can't pretend belief is harmless. Once you see how emotion overrides logic, you can't trust emotion blindly. Awareness is irreversible. Isolation through asymmetry. You see more. Others see less. You move faster mentally. Others lag. Connection requires shared perception. Few are willing to sharpen theirs. So you learn to value solitude, not because you hate people, but because solitude is quieter than misunderstanding. The temptation of arrogance. As intelligence increases, ego tries to attach itself. This is a trap. True intelligence does not announce itself. It remains controlled. The moment you need to prove intelligence, you've lost it. Humility of the truly intelligent. The sharpest minds know how much they don't know. Certainty blinds. Flexibility empowers. You hold ideas loosely, test them ruthlessly, discard them freely. This adaptability is power. Moral ambiguity. Moral simplicity collapses. Context matters. Incentives matter. Outcomes matter. You no longer hide behind ideology. This does not make you immoral. It makes you responsible. Projection toward power. People project onto power. They see malice where there is clarity. You don't react. Reaction is what they want. The silent advantage. The greatest advantage is timing. You know when to speak, when to wait, when to act. Others rush. You move last. And moving last with full clarity is always superior. Why this path is not for everyone. Most people prefer illusion. Illusion is warm. Truth is cold. This path must be chosen. The final truth. Extreme intelligence will not make you happy. It will make you clear. It will not make you loved. It will make you respected or avoided. It will not give you peace. It will give you control. And control always comes with distance. Once your mind sharpens beyond a certain point, you do not return to the crowd. You observe it. You move through it. But you are no longer part of it.